Often and wary pass, fade, end zone, caught, touchdown Bears!
It's all a combination of his frame, his arm, but more his approach to the game, his competitiveness. And little things like that separated him from just the average guy who was satisfied with being talented and good.
Goff throws for the goal line and
what a catch.
into the end zone, caught, touchdown Trey.
It's one of those guys that picks up stuff and just is always good at it, which is great, and he puts in the work. Wherever he goes, that program's turning around, just like this one did. That's how he does it.
As the 2016 NFL Draft draws near, Novato native Jared Goff anxiously awaits to see where he'll be taken among this year's talented crop of offensive linemen. Well, that's not entirely accurate, but it could have been.
First day out for Pop Warner, I was just the dad sitting back watching, and he's this, kind of thin frame kid running around. And they're like, all right, whoever wants to be a lineman, go over there, and you go here. And they don't know. So he ends up getting in the lineman group. And I'm sitting over there going, he ain't gonna be a lineman. I knew kind of one guy that was in the program. I'm like, I don't think line's gonna be probably the best for him. Would you be open if he tried out for quarterback? And they're like, well, we got guys, because they've known we were kind of new to the area. And they said, go home and tell him to work on this reverse pivot and then come back tomorrow and we'll see. And then we got home and he was like, we're doing the reverse pivot. So we sat in the backyard and he did reverse pivots for about 2 hours.
The reality is that Thursday could bring unprecedented news for the former University of California quarterback. Goff is expected to be the #1 pick overall to the Los Angeles Rams, or could be taken #2 by the Philadelphia Eagles. The path taken by this quarterback that brings him to the brink of the NFL was different than most other former top picks. Underrated? No. But quietly flying under the radar in his rise to the top of draft boards was Goff's MO, which began at picturesque Marin Catholic.
Some on the freshman level, and he's a tall, skinny, lanky guy who just zipping the ball around all over the place. And at that moment, I just sort of saw, hey, here's the guy with a great future talent here. Caught my eye then. And when he was a sophomore, even as a junior, you saw him wanting to be on the scout team to compete against the first team defense. And little things like that, separated him from just the average guy who was satisfied with being talented and good.
Marin Catholic with Jared became a happening. They play on Saturday afternoons, and you'd go out there and you'd see the bleachers were full on both sides. It was clearly something that was drawing in the community. The community wanted to see this team. They were undefeated right away in his junior year when he took the reins for good.
We make everyone relevant, You can have a good receiver, a good running back, good tight end, but they're not going to be any good if you can't get them the ball. And he can get them the ball in all the different spots on the field, painting the sidelines up, throwing the out. He could get it downfield to the fast guys, and he would get it to guys in stride, and he could make the average guy look really good and the good guy look really great.
Goff honed his quick release, pocket awareness, and arm strength as a wildcat. He threw 93 touchdowns and only 18 interceptions throughout his career, and led Marin Catholic to a 39-4 record in 3 years on varsity. It's also where he sharpened his leadership skills.
One that may not have been his best game, but the way, the character that he had to endure some of his poor play early was terrific, and that was a Cardinal Newman game his senior year. Big giant crowd and NCS playoffs, whatever it was, and I think Jared threw three picks in the first quarter, I think. And he was already committed to Cal. Cal was there to watch him play, and he rebounded, and they were down by a bunch, and they ended up coming back and winning. I think he ended up throwing 4 touchdowns. I just think it was a character builder. I mean, it was incredible. It could have easily just folded shop and said, you know what, because they were getting rolled.
I think that's the game that I've heard that he went along the sidelines like after the third one, and I think he said to the guys, hang with me, we're going to win this game.
Those traits would pay off as Goff would be tested early on in the next phase of his career at Cal.
What gave him an opportunity to start was the fact that he graduated early. Came in January and started competing and rolled his sleeves up from day one and just said, look, I just want a chance. As we got into fall camp, the quarterback competition continued into camp, and about 10 practices in, I think it was pretty obvious to us that he was going to be the guy. And I don't think any of us anticipated that. Maybe when we recruited him, we thought he would have a chance to develop into a good player, but he was probably ahead of the curve a little bit. Had to weather a tough storm, we all did. He'd been accustomed to winning just like we had been as coaches, and so the first season was tough, but again, I think it speaks incredibly well to his character, how he handled everything, how he handled the adversity of it all, and I think even more importantly, once he became the face of our program, how he handled that as well.
From a 1-11 finish his freshman year to leading the Golden Bears to their first winning season since 2011 as a junior, Goff ushered in and established a new culture in Berkeley.
He works with everybody. You can be third string, second string, first string. He works with you as much as possible. It's not always just throwing. He'll sit down, he'll go pull out his iPad and start looking over film with you, showing you reads that you gotta know, because in the heart of the season, your third string guy could be your first string guy within a matter of plays. We have our position meeting rooms, and the quarterbacks get done earlier than us because they don't have to do the special team stuff. And I know he would always open the door, peek his head in, sit down, and start taking notes. I asked him what he's doing. He says, kind of getting your side of it, trying to know everything, all sides of the field, which is awesome. I mean, most quarterbacks, they don't have that knowledge of what everybody's job is, what their reads are, what they're doing. That's how he does it. I mean, look at Marin Catholic, look what he did there. Look what he did here, change it around like that. I mean, we have a whole new system here that he's just made everybody more focused.
During his 3 years as the starter, Goff broke 26 school records, including passing yards per game, touchdown passes, and total offense. Goff achieved high levels of success through leading by example during his college career, including finding unique ways to bring the campus together.
The cool thing was home games. When we'd have good games, we'd win, come back to the house. Next thing you know, the whole Cal band would walk down the street and they would do their victory songs. They'd come into the house, Jared would hop on the table, we would all hop on chairs, and they would fill in our whole room. We'd open all the windows, and then they would just start playing the fight song right there. That was probably one of our coolest experiences there, was just having that. It was pretty much bringing all of Cal together within that house. And that was solely Jared. He poked his head out the window, said, guys, come in. They noticed him, they came in, and started a little tradition right there, so it was cool.
Goff looking toward the end zone. Pass complete. Waller makes the catch and a touchdown.
Goff and his family are about to experience a complete life change in a matter of days. But don't expect the 6'4", 215-pound quarterback to alter much about himself.
I think he's done a really good job remaining who he is through all of it and not getting a big head and being one of the guys to his friends. He's Jared, and to us, he's Jared. With all the different, all the social media, I think you could really get affected by it. And I think he's remained fairly unaffected, if you can.
After all, this is the guy who was known to blast Taylor Swift inside the Cal locker room, use the quick wit he learned from his mother to downplay critics talking about the size of his hands at the combine, and knows how and when to flip the switch into go mode. It's how he's been able to make a significant impact everywhere he's been, all while quietly rising in the ranks among the top players ready to begin their NFL careers.
The great thing about Jared, he doesn't care. He just wants to go someplace and win and work hard. And again, there's no entitlement there. He doesn't think that he's going to walk in the door day one and be the starting quarterback, regardless of where he's drafted. He just wants to go compete and have a chance to to work hard and earn the job and earn the respect of his teammates, and I have no doubt he'll do that.
I know I gotta get a jersey when that ends up happening. It'll just be awesome to see where he ends up, because wherever he goes, that program's turning around, just like this one did. That's how he does it.